When it comes to your body, energy is everything. Energy to some people just means like how energized you are. But I want you to think it's deeper than that. Energy actually starts in your brain. And your brain is this big communication part of your body that has to communicate with all your parts. Every little millimeter of your skin, or your bones, or your muscles, or your organs, or glands. They have to get energy coming to and from the brain down into those various parts. And so energy is vital for us on a daily basis just to get through and do all our day-to-day functions. So many people out there understand about blood flow. And so your heart is here, and it's very, very well known that blood is going to and from your heart all day long. What most people don't realize is your brain is doing energy flow to and from your brain to all the parts of your entire body all day long. And you want your brain to stay 100% connected to all parts of your skin, to all your organs and all your glands and all your muscles and all your bones. But in today's world, it's an impossible task to keep all of this with energy flow. So the way we test for energy flow is through manual techniques. And in our years of 25 plus years of doing this, it's the best and most accurate method to be able to figure out how well connected the brain is to the various parts of the body. So you think of your brain here, and your spinal cord runs all the way down, and there's a total of 88 nerves, or 44 pair of nerves that are coming off. And those 44 pair of nerves start as big, and then they branch into little microscopic branches. And so we actually have methods here where we test to see if the brain is connected, either with energy going out from the brain to a part, to a muscle, for instance, or energy going into the brain, various parts. So an example would be is just me picking my fingers up here. Okay, so that's done via energy from this side of my brain going out through an actual nerve into these muscles, picking my fingers up and my wrist up here. So the way we test it would be add some resistance here. And the reason we have to do this manually is because I might have a professional athlete that's much stronger and as a one patient. Then the patient right after might be an elderly person that's much weaker. And then I might have a toddler that's obviously doesn't have the same strength. So you have to be able to adjust to be able to accurately determine every single one of these spots in the body to be able to test and get accurate results to see how well their energy is flowing throughout their body. In the first initial testing that we do, we go through and test out each one of the 88 major nerves to see which one of those 88 nerves are not, or which ones of those 88 nerves are not functioning at 100%. There's a variety of methods that we use to test these nerves, and we've kind of developed them from learning from other advanced practitioners over the years, and we kind of proprietarily developed some of them as well. But like an example, for instance, I showed you this one earlier, just holding down, and we just put a little resistance, and some people, we do this and it literally just gets, and that would be a very weak nerve. Well, other nerves, for instance, you have nerves back here, they go to your face, eyes, ears, mouth, nose, throat. And so, for instance, as I'm sitting here looking towards you, if I look up, there's nerves, power, and little muscles making me look up. And if I look to my left, I got nerves, power, and muscles making me look to the left. Look to the right, I have nerves, power, and muscles sending energy into them. So an example would be a lot of times we'll take a patient and we just make them look at my finger here. And we ask them, do your eyes get sore, strained, or tender with any of these movements? And so we'll just make them go in a big circle here. And oftentimes we'll get to like a spot right there and they'll start blinking, or their eyes will kind of start shaking a little bit. And it's weakness in the nerves, power, and the energy flow to those eyes. So that's just one test, and it's testing cranial nerves 3, 4, and 6 are located back here, going to various spots of the eyes. So many of our patients come to us and they've been to 20 different doctors and they don't get the answers that they want. And ultimately, maybe they get another pill, whatever the recommended remedy for them is for the other doctors. But when they come to us and we start with this energy flow test that we do, it's very extensive. And, we start with a history, and we get a history in their symptoms after symptom after symptom, condition after condition that they've developed. And maybe they're a young person. Just today, we saw some that had symptom lists this long and were very young. They know that they're weak. They know that they're not 100%. They know they don't feel like they should, but yet nobody's really validated that for them. And so when we do this energy flow test, the way I tell people is we have a proprietary way of telling you, just like a cell phone, for instance, you want your cell phone to be 100% to maybe 85% throughout your day. And you don't want it to dip lower. If you're like my kids, they start flipping out if it goes lower. So, but we want your nervous system to stay in that 100 to 85% range, connected to all your parts. And oftentimes people come to us and we'll finish that original exam, and we have this way of determining exactly how well connected their brain is through the major 88 nerves to their parts. And we have the majority of people are around the 30% range. And we have some that are less, much less. I've seen some at 9.5% come to us. And you can imagine the validation for those patients. Once we get finished doing this exam, they feel all the various weaknesses as we're testing them. And they start to realize, holy moly, I knew I was weak, but I didn't know where I was weak. And then we show them the validation of the test after, and it really just, a lot of them start to cry. And because it's finally somebody that actually can validate the actual weaknesses in their body and actually get the brain to start rejuvenating, rebooting, trying to get these weaknesses fixed. The first visit is always the most fun, and it's because we get to actually witness the power of the brain and what it's capable of and how it can be rebooted. So when we finish doing the 88 nerves and going through and finding all the different weaknesses, then we actually get the patient back on the table where they were, and we actually go and assess some of the ones that we found that were weak, some of the nerves we found that were weak, that had weak energy flow to them, and we reassess those weak ones. And oftentimes, just within minutes, the brain has already rebooted those various nerves. So it's such an unbelievable experience to be able to witness the power of the brain and how it can be reprogrammed and how it can be rebooted in such a short period if you know exactly how to reboot it. The rebooting process is something that everybody should be having done throughout their entire life, because you want to think of your brain is trying its best to maintain energy to and from all your parts in this crazy world we're in right now. It's full of toxins and chemicals and pollutants and 5G Wi-Fi and all the other physical and emotional stresses we have to deal with. So you can imagine it's an impossible task in today's world for your brain to maintain 100% power to every single millimeter of your entire body. So going through the rebooting process is literally just trying to get your brain to stay 100% connected to all these different parts in your body. And it's becoming increasingly more important to get rebooted, because what we're seeing is patients coming to see us on the initial visit even lower and lower and lower at a younger age, because the world is getting harsher on our bodies, and it's making it more difficult for your brain to stay 100% connected. So after this initial assessment of figuring out what percentage you are, we do a few other tests, and we combine all this data together to formulate a plan of action to be able to help. And so the plan of action is customized to each individual patient. And in that plan of action, we're utilizing just basic ingredients in the human body. And I think the top 3 ingredients in the human body are oxygen, water, and light. And so we call that the OWL method. And so oxygen is our number 1 nutrient, and you can't do without it. You can do without a lot of things. You cannot do without breathing. The problem with breathing is we don't breathe enough, and we don't know we're breathing anymore. So our cells over time start to lose oxygen, which causes sickness. So we have all kinds of devices that help to get oxygen back to cells. The second will be water. So a lot of times people are not getting enough water. And a lot of our Cajuns in this area think, Coke is water, but it's not good water. or they think tap water is good water. It's not. So we have various routes of not only getting people to drink more water, but better water. And then also making sure that your cells are taking in water. We have routes of helping with that. And then the third part sounds confusing sometimes, is light, but it just goes to energy. You want to think of your brain, as we talked about with energy flow. It's really like a light energy flow. It's just light flowing through your nerves. Nerves are like fiber optic. So this energy is just flowing through you, and it's light energy. When people come to see us, they go through the process, and they get their program, which requires a lot of our clinical devices and methods and applications. It requires time on their end to be able to come in and fix all the different things they have. But one of the biggest challenges for me has always been trying to give them stuff for home. And so right now we have the best device I've ever seen in over 25 years of practice, and these are body chargers. And so a patient starting with us now can get this as part of their original program. They can use this 24/7, and we can actually specifically program it for them based on their needs. And these devices actually simply target cellular frequencies in your body. You can check it out. Go to bodychargers.com. They help to reset frequencies in your body and cells. So remember that everything in your body is about energy flow. And I'll say that, and I want you to think about something. We talk about blood flow. Well, your brain has to provide energy to your heart for it to work. Blood flow doesn't come without energy from your brain to it. So energy flow is everything. It's the basis, it's the core, it's the foundation for your overall health and for maintenance of your health and for keeping you away from injuries. In fact, the better your energy flow is, the less likely you're going to get sick, the less likely you're going to get injured, and the more you'll enjoy a healthier, higher quality of life. So I'm Dr. Chris Cormier. I'm the founder of the Nerve Health Institute.